So we're on a bit of watching players who we're after or currently technically contracted to us in their international games, and we hope one of the situations doesn't change. Hello and welcome to the video. If you could like, share and subscribe to the channel, I would much appreciate it. Liking helps the algorithm, sharing gets in front of people's faces, and subscribing is free. All it does is show YouTube how many subs I'm getting and help me a little bit go, I'm doing good in what I'm doing. So Ugbo had got the situation that we want him in the summer, right? And this is really bad. That last night, he didn't play for Canada at all. He was on the bench. And there's a big part of me that wants him not to play in Copa America or in these other games and like have someone ahead of him kind of thing. Because you don't want other people to see what he can do and stuff. Now, this will be likely a permanent transfer, but he won't be cheap. There's a lot of clubs in England and Europe looking and MLS wanting to get his signature. Now, he's set to take part in Copa America for Canada in the coming weeks. And he is in the shop window. Let's be honest. He is in the shop window and he will want to be putting under display to up his value, to show people what he can do. But in their friendly last night against Holland, he was left on the bench for the first game for ex-Leeds United boss Jesse Marr. They were absolutely battered 4-0. And they used 6 substitutions, bringing on 4 attacking players while Ugbo sat on the sidelines. And it was a bit of a surprise that he didn't actually go on because he's done really, really well as how he played and how he's done. Now, the thing is the person who is the assistant to Marsh, Burrell, started Ugbo for some games in March. And I think it might have been a big surprise that he wasn't playing last night or brought on. Now, we don't know why the lack of involvement was. It could be something else. It could be something making sure he's a bit more match fit. Didn't want to risk him in a game where they were all but done and dusted. So there could be that. But here's the thing. How much game time is he actually going to get in Copa America? Their first game in it is against Argentina. So that is a tough game for them. We know Bernard played last night for Jamaica as well, did okay, even though the commentary team, from what Joe Cran said, said he played for Stoke City, which was like, no, he doesn't. But it's one of the things, you're going to want to, in a selfish way, Wednesday fans, we're going to want him not to have much game time or play and not show what he can do or actually have a good tournament. Because in one sense, that helps us get his signature a little bit better. And I know that's very cynical and not the way you want to think of. Because you want the players who you potentially wanting to bring in to have good tournaments so they can come into the club in a really good form. But it also then maybe adds a couple of more digits onto the price tag. Or gets other clubs watching going, oh, wow, he's done really well. How much is he going for? Only that much, and then they get him. So we have to be really, really careful with this one. We want him. We've made it very clear we want him to come in. Another player we are wanting to come into the club is Dembele. Now, here's the thing. Pompey has now dropped out of the race for Dembele, apparently, which is good. Left people wanting him the better. My big concern here is Leeds apparently are looking at him, but I doubt it. I don't think Leeds will go and get him. Honestly, I think they'd go for someone else. So it's probably still us. I believe I read that it was Derby and Leeds. If we can get Dembele in, it'd be fantastic. Because he is a very good player. He's a tricky little winger that we need. He can play really good football. And the thing is, I go on a limb and say you try and buy him. One of these one for the future, like you did with a Gassama, like you did with a Masaba. You get these players in. Now, we don't want to be overloaded in those positions, but we need cover. We need cover for the kind of position because we don't have it. If you think about last season, we had Gassama, Masaba, Johnson, and now and again Windass. They're your players who will play on that wing kind of position. And Pervader, when he came in, we don't want to have too many people in that position because then it kind of has an issue. But a lot of these players now play multi roles. So it could be that you turn Pervader into a 10 and Josh Windass and Pervader rotate. Then you've got a situation where Gassama and Masaba both play either side. So you're going to need cover for right and left winger. Johnson will be probably covered on the left side, but then you need someone on the right. So it makes sense that we're looking at the players who are winger-based and trying to see what happens. But we do want to be careful with that. I'd love to see Dembele in, and I think we've all loved to see Ugbo back because he had such a good time at Wednesday in a short base. And his goals were very crucial. And I think it will show a real intent on what Chansiri and what Danny want to do next season with how everything is going to go, because we have to be really smart about our decisions. We can't just go for anyone. And with the players that we have been looked at, a couple of them are players who we've had in our squad already. So they already know the team. They already know the manager. They already know what the style of play is. That helps. So Ugbo's situation is kind of selfish as us. We don't want him to play many minutes because you want him to not get the eye of people. Deshaun will play minutes. I'm 100% sure about that, which is slightly annoying, and we still have no idea where that's going. It back and forth with agents by the sound of it, so we haven't got a clue how close that is. And again, more people dropping out the race for Dembele helps us. It makes us an easier way of getting it in. I can see it being a loan if it does happen, but I like it to be a permanent because he's a good player. It's about like building players for the future, getting all the players in. Like there's a lot of people who've said a couple of the Man United players who have been released who we should go for, and maybe that is the case we do. But now that with all the Premier League clubs having their retain list down, you can now start to see where you might be able to get players in. It might start going a lot quicker now that the Prem clubs have now put their retain lists and release players out. So it's going to be interesting. Interestingly, just before we end this, Leeds United still haven't put their retain list out. It's still not out, which is interesting. You would have thought that would have been out by now, considering the final was a week ago, I want to say. Was it a week or 2 weeks ago? It was 2 weeks ago. It was on the 26th. So it's 2 weeks and they still haven't put it out. So that's interesting. So let's see what happens. You can hopefully hope that Pervader's on that list. I can't see him staying. And if he does, it's a bit of a blow for us, but we have to then look at other targets. We'll see.